Is there a concern by NACA or the agency with the large number of retirements in the near future?
Large concern. Again, I'm not going to speak to the agency. I speak to it from the NACA standpoint. We continue to engage the agency, and we have for over a decade of, staffing, the hiring practices of the agency, the stop and go funding that's out there. These aren't new issues and aren't things that we have been quiet about under any administration, or whoever has been the NACA president or been members of the National Executive Board. They are things that we, times to engage, ways that you build a strategy to get your message out there. And one of them has been to be very vocal about the realities that we face and where it's going. Now, based on the current projections, again, that we look at on a regular basis, and then we compare notes with the agency of where we're at and what it's doing, is with the hiring of about 2,500, and that includes your previous experiences and others, and then the ECTIs as they continue to grow, which will, likely or hopefully surpass the 2,500 mark, is that will, over the next 3 years, and as those people train and begin to become partially certified, you can expect out of 2,000 being hired, and we'll just take round numbers because I'm a Marine and that's easier. Sometimes is in about a 2-year time, you'll see a 50% reduction in that, meaning either they were unsuccessful at the academy, or those who were successful at the academy then were unsuccessful in the field. You'll yield approximately 1,000 CPCs. So at 2,500, you'll yield approximately 1,250 over the next 2.5 years. And as that continues to build, well, this next 3 years is the lull in the retirement bell curve, is to spike as high as we can and then overcome attrition for the long-term commitment. And that's why the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2024 was so important, of 5 years of max hiring. And we're trying to get language to extend that beyond the 5 years for another 5 years of max hiring, so it doesn't go back to the FAA finance model of, no, we think we're good and we'll shut it down at 800 and move on from here and see what that's like. That has put us in the very deficit we're in, and why it was so important that we got the CRWG numbers not only passed, memorialized, and now the basis of whatever they use for hiring will be the basis of what we use for moving. Those two things had never been done until we signed that MOU and put that into effect. So we will absolutely continue to advocate for it. We'll absolutely use our legislative endeavors to move it and hold the agency accountable for what's being done in the models. If the projections run out right now, it should be approximately 2029 fiscal year ending going into 2030. So the end of 2029 calendar wise, that we would be breaking through about 14,000 CPCs. That vacillates right now back and forth, but it was 2032 to 2033 when it was at 2,000, around 2,500. It backs that down. And we have to continue working on ways, bringing the simulators online, the investment that's been done from there, to reduce the training times where it's appropriate. And can we maximize the success where somebody could have been successful that wasn't because they weren't given the proper support or resources, or that are quite often seen in our level 7 and below facilities. That's another component to it as well, but it's also keeping safety in mind and not just checking and certifying people to check out and certify people because we need more.